Most people take a US rail pass and blow it on one massive loop they barely remember. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to turn that same pass into 4 separate weekend getaways out of the Bay Area. No rental car, no airport security, just 1 pass, 2 hubs, and 4 big trips including Yosemite and Oregon. We're going to use San Francisco as our play hub, Emeryville as our rail hub, and stitch together Yosemite National Park, a Pacific Northwest tester weekend to Eugene, a California Zephyr taster, and a coastal slice of the Coast Starlight, all inside one 30-day window. If you've got more vacation dreams than vacation days, this is how you make a US rail pass actually work for you. I'm keen on the rails. Let's get into it. Quick setup so this all makes sense. Our home base for this episode is the San Francisco Bay Area. But we're cheating. We're using 2 hubs. San Francisco is where you stay, sightsee, and eat. Emeryville is where your long-distance trains actually come and go. When you book with Amtrak, you'll often see San Francisco as an option, but the long-distance trains and the big California routes physically stop in Emeryville, with an included throughway bus or an easy hop across the bay. We're also using a US rail pass. That gives you 10 segments in 30 days on coach. Each time you board a new train or Amtrak-branded bus, it usually counts as 1 segment. In this episode, we're going to burn 2 segments per weekend, out and back, across 4 weekends. That's 8 segments total, leaving you with 2 bonus segments to position into the Bay Area, or to bolt on an extra day trip if you're local. Here are the 4 weekends. Weekend 1. Yosemite Long Weekend via the San Joaquins and Yards. Weekend 2. Northbound Coast Starlight Sampler to Eugene, Oregon. Weekend 3. California Zephyr Taster into the Sierra or to Reno. Weekend 4. Southbound Coast Starlight Coastal Escape. Let's start with the crown jewel, Yosemite. Weekend 1 is our flagship long weekend, 3 days, 2 nights built around Yosemite National Park. Here's the basic pattern. Day 1 Friday. You start from San Francisco, cross the bay to Emeryville, and hop on an Amtrak San Joaquins train heading toward the Central Valley. You ride the train to a gateway city like Merced, then transfer to the Yards coach into Yosemite Valley. That whole chain train plus Yards means you never have to rent a car, fight for park parking, or worry about winter driving. You just sit back and let the train and the bus do the work. Day 2 Saturday. You wake up inside or near Yosemite Valley with a full day to explore. You can hit the classic Valley Loop, waterfalls when they're running, and the free park shuttles. If you're filming or just sightseeing, this is where you get your big money shots. Day 3 Sunday. You reverse the chain Yards back out to the San Joaquins, train back to Emeryville, then it's an easy hop back into San Francisco in time for work on Monday. For segments, that's 1 segment on the San Joaquins each way, plus the Yards transfer if it's ticketed as a separate Amtrak segment. In most cases, you're looking at 2 rail pass segments total for the weekend. Who this weekend is for? You want a big-name national park. You don't want to drive. And you're okay dedicating the first weekend of your pass to a slightly longer, 3-day trip. Weekend 2, we go north. Weekend 2 is all about testing the Pacific Northwest without committing to a full LA to Seattle run. We're taking the Coast Starlight north from the Bay Area to Eugene, Oregon. Here's how the weekend works. Day 1 Friday. You leave from Emeryville or Oakland on the northbound Coast Starlight. This is a long-distance train, so you've got a sightseer lounge, a dining car for sleepers, and a proper long-haul feel. For a weekend, I'd treat this as a rail fan evening and overnight. Settle into coach or grab a roomette if your budget allows. Watch the sun go down, and fall asleep somewhere in Northern California. Day 2, Saturday. You wake up in Southern Oregon or the Cascades. This is where the scenery gets fun. Mountains, forests, and that classic West Coast rail vibe. By late morning or midday, you're rolling into Eugene. The Eugene station is right in downtown. You can walk off the train, drop your bag at a hotel, and spend the rest of Saturday exploring on foot. Think cafes, breweries, the University of Oregon campus, maybe a local market. No car needed. Day 3 Sunday. You catch the southbound Coast Starlight back toward the bay, and this time you get a different set of daylight views on the way home. By Sunday night you're back in Emeryville and can connect back into San Francisco. From a pass perspective, that's one segment up, one segment back. What you get for those two segments is a second state, a taste of the Coast Starlight, and a very manageable no-car weekend. If you like this style of trip, you can later scale it up into a full West Coast run between LA, the Bay, and Seattle. Weekend 3, we go inland. Weekend 3 is our California Zephyr sampler. The full Zephyr between Chicago and the Bay Area is one of the most famous train trips in North America, but it's a huge time commitment. With a a rail pass and a Bay Area hub, you can taste some of the best parts in a simple out-and-back weekend. Again, we start in Emeryville. Day 1, Saturday. You board the eastbound California Zephyr out of Emeryville. Within hours you're leaving the Bay, crossing the Delta, and climbing into the Sierra Nevada. You get plenty of classic Zephyr scenery, bridges, canyons, mountain curves without having to ride all the way to Chicago. Your turnaround point can be somewhere like Reno or another Sierra gateway, depending on the schedule that month. The key for this episode is, you pick a place that gives you a fun overnight and an easy turnaround the next day. Day 2, Sunday. You hop on the westbound Zephyr and ride back down through the mountains, finishing in Emeryville and heading back into San Francisco. Again, that's two segments, one out, one back. You're not trying to do the whole Zephyr here. You're using the pass to audition the route, learn the timing, and decide if it's worth coming back for the full 2-night cross-country trip later. Weekend 4, we head south for one more coastal run. Weekend 4 closes out the pass with a classic California coastal getaway on the southbound Coast Starlight. Here's the pattern. Day 1, Saturday. From Emeryville or Oakland, you board the southbound Coast Starlight. This time you're riding through the agricultural Central Valley and then out toward the coast. You can set your weekend around a place like San Luis Obispo or Santa Barbara, somewhere with a compact downtown, great food, and easy access to the water or old town streets. You arrive mid to late afternoon, walk from the station to your hotel, and spend the evening soaking up that small city coastal atmosphere. Day 2, Sunday. You catch the northbound train back toward the Bay. From a filming perspective, this is where you get exterior shots of the coastline, the lounge car, and those big picture windows on the ocean side. By evening you're back in Emeryville and wrapping your final weekend on the pass. Again, two segments, down and back. Plus, you've now sampled the Coast Starlight in both directions, north and south, with totally different destinations. Let's zoom out and look at what we just did with one a rail pass. In 4 weekends we used 8 segments and turned the Bay Area into a launchpad for Yosemite National Park by train and bus, a no-car Pacific Northwest weekend in Eugene, Oregon, a California Zephyr taster into the Sierra Nevada, a South Coast getaway on the Coast Starlight. You never rented a car. You never went through airport security. You slept in your own bed most weeks and still got 4 big trips. This style of pass use is perfect if you live in or can cheaply get to the Bay Area, you have more long weekends than long vacations. You want to test multiple famous Amtrak routes before committing to huge point-to-point journeys. It's less ideal if you hate early mornings, you must have a private room every time, or you want slow, multi-day stays in each place instead of quick samplers. If this gave you ideas for your own Bay Area rail season, tell me in the comments which of the 4 weekends you'd book first. Yosemite, Eugene, the Zephyr Sampler, or the Coastal Escape. In future episodes, I'm going to keep pushing this one hub, one pass idea around the country using places like Chicago, LA, Seattle, and DC as launch pads for multiple rail weekends, not just one giant loop. If you found this helpful, hit like so more rail fans can find it, and subscribe so you don't miss the next hub. I'm keen on the rails. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next train out of the Bay Area.